Hello, California DECA. Welcome to our professionals panel. So basically what this panel is going to consist of is we have two speakers, one from the apparel and accessories industry and one from the finance industry. So they've been in the industry for a very long time, so they are definitely very experienced within their respective fields. And today they're actually going to be answering one of our DECA role plays. This is an opportunity for members to see how an industry professional would act in one of these situations. So without further ado, please welcome Natasha Sislo, our first guest today. Natasha, could you please talk a little bit about yourself and your experience within business?
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me today, first of all. And it's so nice to be here. So my experience goes pretty far back. I started one of my very first jobs was in apparel. I worked in retail. So when I was 16 years old, my first job was at a vintage clothing store. So I got to see the retail side and to watch, the buying side and to work face-to-face with customers. And I worked in the retail industry for many years, for about 10 years in high-end boutiques after that. After I got a degree and I graduated college, I also worked in a different side of the apparel industry, which was the magazine side. So I got to see how the apparel industry uses marketing and advertising. And then after that, I moved to the wholesale side. So I worked as the head of worldwide sales for a big denim company called Blue Cult. And then after that, I was head of worldwide sales for a contemporary clothing line called 12th Street by Cynthia Vincent. She started the brand Vince. And after she left Vince, she launched 12th Street with me. And so I got to work with her from the ground up, from coming up with the name to coming up with the collection to taking the collection on, all over the world to all the different trade shows. So I've worked on all different sides. And then after that, I had my own brand.
Wow, that is a lot of experience. So there's no one better than you to answer this scenario.
Okay.
I've given you your scenario. You now have 10 minutes to prepare your presentation, and I will come back and we will begin your interview. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
If you would like to follow along, this will be the role play that Ms. Sislo will be going over.
Okay, so to walk you through how I'm coming up with what I might say in this presentation, I'm taking notes on the questions on the scenario. Then I'm going back to the event situation page and I'm looking at the 4 different bullet points that I need to cover. How would allowing rewards coupons to be transferable or shareable help sales? How would allowing rewards coupons to be transferable or shareable hurt sales? How would allowing rewards coupons to be shared positively or negatively affect the Fountain of Style's image? And what is the final recommendation? So after reading those 4 prompts, I'm then going back to the performance indicators and making sure I read those clearly, taking down some notes and making sure that I cover the 21st century skills of critical thinking, problem solving, communication, creativity, and innovation, and those 5 bullet points. Hopefully I can do this because I know I'm running out of time. So forgive me while I take notes and don't speak.
Okay, so now let's go into your role play.
Okay, great. Can't wait. My name is Natasha Sislo, and I am the Director of Sales for Fountain of Style. And it's so nice to be here speaking with you because, and I'm really, really excited about the possible changes that we're going to be making with the company as we grow and evolve and listen to our customers and see what else we can offer them in order to grow our business. We had a lot of feedback. We actually, I have found through, years of doing this and from being on the sales floor that the most important person to listen to is our customer. So our customers have requested that we have a rewards program, and a lot of them really would prefer that that's a shareable rewards program because a lot of them want to bring their friends shopping with them and they want to make sure that their friends have the same benefits that they do. And so I would like to go over with you the benefits and the possible how this program could help and how it potentially could hurt, so we can weigh whether it's a feasible and practical program for us to adopt at the store. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Thanks. So First of all, let's start out with how allowing the rewards coupons being transferable to other customers or shareable could help sales. As you know, the coupons are either mailed or emailed to the customer offering 25% off, 50% off, or even 75% off one item. So this actually can really help grow our customer base, because if we get one person very, very excited and they forward it to their friends, and their friends in turn add their, telephone number, I think it's the phone number at the checkout to earn the reward points, it only grows our customer base. And growing a customer base is obviously what we want to do. And it makes them happy customers, because happy customers are people who feel like they're getting a deal. So as long as we have some of this built into our profit margin, which is really very important. And, something else to think about is that we are in an above average price. So, once you get above a certain price, the customer is very savvy and knows that they can shop and they can look around and they can go to a bunch of different online marketplaces, and they're going to look for the best dollar. But if they know that we are working with them and we want them to bring their friends in and we want them to share this with their family members, then I think that they'll remain loyal to us and grow our customer base. So that is one of the great ways that it could, help us. Excuse me while I just take a look at a few notes. So I think that this would be great with helping our customers in their buying behavior, because it will, I don't know about you, but every time I get a good deal or somebody says, that you're getting, a little something for nothing, it kind of gives you a dopamine hit. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like someone is taking care of you, that you're being seen. And that can only create positive buying behavior and build a clientele that is happy. It also reflects very positively on the retail image and what the image of this store of Fountain of Style represents. And what we want to represent is somebody who cares about our customers, somebody who wants to listen and hear. We're not just trying to make money. We're actually trying to create a greater experience and something that people can take home with them. So when they put on an article of clothing that they get from our store, they look at it and they think, that made me happy. That made me feel seen. That made me feel good. And I saved some money. And so when they come back and they see something that's perhaps not on sale, they'll still associate those two things together, and it'll just create a really positive sales function for them. I think that may have covered the motivational theories. I think I touched on those things. Obviously, we're motivated by a good deal, but we're also motivated as human beings by feeling like we're being seen and that we're respected, and that, our dollars matter. Everybody's working hard for every dollar that they put into our pockets. So I think that that's very, very positive. How would allowing the rewards program to be transferable or shareable hurt sales? Well, obviously, if we find that anybody is abusing it and perhaps sending it out and we don't have the proper markup, then, that's something I think that we have to make sure that as a company, we're looking at what items we're marking on sale, because we can't obviously have our number one items on sale all the time. That's just not going to make sense. We think the bread and butter of our business, say it's jeans and t-shirts, or say, it's the things that people buy over and over and over again. Perhaps those aren't the ones that are always being marked off. It's some of the more like specialty items that bring somebody in and then they continue to buy those bread and butter items. But it could hurt sales in some ways also if it feels like a little too hungry, a little too desperate of always promoting sales. I find that sometimes if it's a little more selective how often we do it, then that can incentivize buyers. And you want to create a very positive retail image through branding, advertising, the reputation of the store, the location of the store. Everything that creates the identity of the store needs to be on brand. It needs to all sync together. So I think if we are very classy about it, and if there is in the retail image of the store, if say there's a advertising or PR campaign built around this, or maybe an influencer or something on social media, where it becomes very cool and exclusive. So you keep this upper kind of special quality of the brand. You don't kind of dumb the brand down, and you don't seem to make the brand seem cheap, but you still bring in all those extra customers. So there is if the dollar is not built into the profit margin, it can perhaps be negative, but I really think that the positives outweigh that. How would allowing the rewards program to be shared positively or negatively affect Fountain of Style's image? Well, I touched upon that a little bit, and let me speak about that a little bit more, because the image of the company is everything. As we've seen, people can turn on a brand pretty quick and things can go south from there. So all of the different components, the identifying components of a retail image, need to work together. And that goes from the beginning, the branding, what brands we carry, what the retail space looks like, what kind of advertising we're choosing to do, where we're advertising, how we present ourselves on social media, how we, how the customers are trained in the store. Because I've worked on so many different sides of the fashion industry, from the retail sales floor to the magazine side, to the wholesale side, to having my own brand, to the design side, I know that everything has to work together. And if you have, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So I personally believe that the people on the sales floor are the most important people, because they are the direct connection to the buyer. And the buyer is who we're reaching out and how we're getting more buyers by using this program. So the most interesting part about this program, as we grow it, is that there's shareable coupons. So this is because they're shareable, and we are going to get more customers out of this process, because it's going to expand our customer base. I personally believe, through many years of experience, that by allowing these coupons to be shareable, it will affect Fountain of Style's image in a very positive way, because our customers have been asking for this. And if you have a company where you're ignoring what your customers want, your customers are going to find another company that are going to give you that. So I'm guessing that we have heard this feedback from our customers on the sales floor and through customer service online. And so it's important that those people actually talk about it, and talk about, when we create this program, we show in our marketing and our PR, and bring everything back to the buyer, and give them, so they feel like they have agency in this company. We want them invested in this company. We want them to feel like it's their company. They think, I changed Fountain of Style. That's amazing. Have you guys seen that they have the jeans that we've all been wearing and that we love in a new color? And oh my God, today only they're 50% off if you put your number in. Well, guess what? You just got 20 new customers from one girl who liked her jeans and had a great experience with Fountain of Style. So one little change in marketing can actually change a huge component of not just the retail image of our company in a very positive way. It can build our clientele in a massive way. I mean, if one person can tell 20 girlfriends in 30 seconds, think about all of our customers and what they can do. And by the way, that'll grow our company all over the world. It's not just in a location. Because we're online, we can reach, we have a huge scope. Anywhere we can ship, anywhere we can build a client. So I think that the nature and scope of the selling function, I think, is very positive. And I think it works great with our branding, and it will serve a strong relationship with our clients and a strong relationship with our new clients. And it will really help create an even stronger brand image than we already have, which is our end goal. So, because we're in this not for the sprint, but for the long haul. And we don't want to be the kind of brand that's only around for a few years, which happens all the time. Retail and fashion is a very, very, very difficult business, especially in this day and age when everybody can go onto Amazon and get whatever they want and return it with, a click. And we don't want that to happen. We want our customers to be invested and to have personal relationships with everybody that they see in our company, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in our customer service, whether it's, the actual designers doing trunk shows. We can create events around this. If someone comes to the trunk show and brings 20 girlfriends, they can all get a code, they can have that discount for a day. I think it can only be positive. So I think after, unless I've missed any points, I personally believe that the final recommendation is that this is a very positive program, as long as we are very mindful of the profit margins and what it is that we're discounting, and that we're not, obviously discounting the entire store and it becomes a free for all. And as long as we're watching our profit margins, that this not only lets our customer know that we see them and that they are part of our company, but it also really helps the image of the company, and it will grow our database. So my final recommendation is yes, I hope that you agree with me, because I'm really excited. I think that we can create so many different fun ways to re-strategize, grow our company, and create some really fun events that engage our customer and blows all of the other competitors out of the market.
Well, thank you so much for your recommendation. I actually have a few questions for you if you don't mind answering.
Not at all.
So my first question is, do we need to communicate this recommendation that you've provided to our customers?
Yeah, I actually believe in transparency. And I think that our customers would appreciate that as well. And I think for thanking them for giving us feedback, for thanking them for being a part of the process, for letting them know that we're making changes because of them, that their voice matters, will make them all the more invested in our product. So I would recommend being as transparent as possible with the customers.
And then my second question for you today is, why do retailers have customer rewards programs?
Well, I think customer rewards programs are to incentivize the seller. I mean, there's a couple different reasons why we could have it. If there's a product that's not moving, it's a way to move that product at a better price point. So if we have something that's sitting on the shelf because perhaps, it's priced a little high, it's a way to move that product. But overall, those customer rewards programs are rewarding our customers. We're trying to show them that we respect them, that we want to keep them loyal to our company, that we we are rewarding them for being loyal to our brand. So it's a way of just giving back, actually. And if you can frame the marketing around it as giving back to your customer, where they feel like, you're showing them a little love, who doesn't like that?
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you so much for meeting with me. I really appreciate the time you took to speak with me. And I hope that some of my ideas are interesting and that we can work together.
Hello, Mr. Furrow. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your day to help the students of California DECA. For those watching, I was wondering if you could give a brief overview about who you are and your experience in business, specifically finance.
I am the Chief Financial Officer of a company called Irwin Naturals, and I am your accountant today.
Well, thank you for taking this time. And for everyone watching, today we are going to be going over the Accounting Application Series event roleplay. If you would like to follow along with Mr. Furrow, this will be the roleplay he will be going over.
All right, so Mrs. Barrett, I recently was hired to be your accountant, and I understand that you've never been through this before. So the first thing when setting up your book for accounting is to understand the difference between balance sheet items and income statement items. Okay, so you can think of the income statement as a movie and the balance sheet as a picture, meaning the income statement is generally taken over the period of 1 year, from January 1st to December 31st, where you start on the top with income and you list all of your expenses and you get to what's hopefully a profit. So that's an income statement. A balance sheet it's at a specific date, and it looks at what's called assets and liabilities. Assets is kind of what you own, and the liabilities is what you owe. So I see there's a list here of items that we can break down between income statement and balance sheets. For example, you start with revenue, right? On the top, however you guys recognize revenue at your barn or with the horses. And I can give you the items that go beneath that. So writing lessons, I guess that's how you make money. So that's really the top of your income statement, the writing lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got items that are directly related to the horses, like hay, grain, stuff like that, horse cleaning supplies. And then you've got the salaries of everybody involved, groundskeeper salaries, ranch hand wages, the equipment also. So all that kind of goes into the income statement. On the balance sheets, you've got on the left your assets, and to the right your liabilities. Your assets from here, I guess, would be equipment, stables, land, cash. Those are kind of all the assets. And on the liability side is what you owe. So I see here there's a mortgage for the land that goes in the liabilities. There's a line of credit that's just borrowing. So that's the debt, the money that you owe the bank. So we classified the above accounts into assets, liability, equity, revenue, and expenses. I don't know if you're going to need to have it written down, but we can go over each one if it's not clear where it goes. Discuss, suggest any account that you might have missed. I guess it's hard to, how does the business make money? It's just writing lessons? Is that it? That's the revenue?
Yeah, we have riding lessons and we have a bunch of different events where people can come and just ride horses for fun.
I guess they listed the 20 Arabian horses, so that goes in your assets in the balance sheet.
We're considering purchasing them right now.
Well, that's going to be very expensive, Margot Barrett. But it says you have 20 Arabian horses.
Mm-hmm. We have 20 right now.
That's an asset. No, I mean, it looks like most of the items that you need for balance sheet and income statement are there. I think you've got, is it clear, or do you want to go through one by one so we can see where they go?
No, I think that's pretty clear. You went over the majority of where all of it goes. I'm pretty clear about what's classified as just like a cost for running our business compared to what we're gaining revenue from. Could you go into a little depth about the concept of accounting and what accounting really is?
Accounting is looking backward. It's keeping track of the important lines of your business. So there's the income statement that will tell you if you're profitable or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how you pay, and you have to pay taxes on that. So the income statement is, clearly over the period of a year, usually calendar year, just to show if you're showing a profit or a loss. So that determines how well or how poorly your business is doing. Then there's the balance sheet, and the balance sheet shows what you own and what you owe.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to be healthy also, obviously, because, and by the way, the total assets always equal the total liability, because you've got assets. So like the 20 horses, that's an asset for the business. But the way you bought that might have been through the line of credit. So that's the borrowing. So the liability side will show you kind of where the money came from, right? Mm-hmm. And like the line of credit and the mortgage. And then on the left side, on the asset side, you've got the land and the horses and equipment and stuff like that. So both those income statement and balance sheet just help people track how they're doing and seeing why they're profitable, and if not, why not. And it's also serves for tax purposes, because everybody's business needs to file taxes at the end of the year. So you look at the income statement, and that's how you determine the amount of taxes that you owe. So those are kind of the big reasons that you've got.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you so much. Do you have any suggestions about any accounts that I may have missed when preparing the potential expenses and the potential revenue streams that we may have at our ranch?
Well, no, revenue streams, I guess if it's just writing lessons, that's the only one that I see that's revenue generating. So mm-hmm. I'm guessing that that's the only way you're getting income.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I think it looks like, most of those accounts are
Great.
there.
So I have a few questions for you just on the topic of finance. How does ethics really apply into accounting?
How does ethics apply to accounting? Well, there's been some pretty famous accounting missteps that kind of or brought some companies to file bankruptcy, like Enron. I mean, accounting is, every company's got an accountant because you really need to keep track of stuff, mostly for tax purposes. So there's kind of different levels of accounting, meaning from less strict to very strict. Most public companies, for example, like ours, we need an audit. And an audit is a very specific accounting term that refers to the level of work that the auditors do. And then you've got kind of lesser, smaller companies don't really want to pay for that. So they'll do what's called a review. And it's just important to the everyday managing your company. You need the accounting to be very specific and a reflection of the company.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so going forward, how often do you think we should meet to discuss finances?
Quarterly, we can do that quarterly. You're going to need to file your taxes, so that needs to be done. But usually a quarterly meeting with your accountants is what you do.
Well, that all sounds great. Thank you so much for spending this time to meet with me, and I look forward to continue working with you as our new financial consultant.
Well, thank you, Margot Barrett.
All right, that concludes our role play, but I have one final question for you. From your experience in the finance industry, do you have any advice you'd give to students who are just thinking about pursuing a career in finance or just starting off on their financial journey?
I guess there's many jobs within finance, right, to be thinking of. What I'm doing now is in-house. I work for a company, and I'm the CFO. There's many other kind of the big buckets out there. There's wealth management, so people who manage other people's money. There's investment banking, where you can do advisory work like mergers and acquisition. There's the capital market side, where you work with company to try to raise money, debt or equity. There's research. I think the first step would be to kind of understand the different buckets and to kind of start understanding, to try to pick one.
That all sounds great. Thank you.